All right, well, another classic is one of the most important principles of quality improvement initiatives is visuality. We know that, we talk about it all the time, and humans are vision-centric creatures, and for many of us, a good graphic can communicate a lot faster and more effectively than anything else. A picture's worth 1,000 words, we know that, right? Yep. Well, perhaps the biggest proponent of visuality in our industry today is a lady by the name of Gwendolyn Galsworth. Many of you are familiar with Gwendolyn. She's a good friend of Quality Digest for many years. She founded the Visual Lean Institute and hosts a radio program called The Visual Workplace, which has 70,000 listeners. Impressive. Gwendolyn's latest article, Napoleon's Defeat Made Visual, right there, ran in Quality Digest Daily on Tuesday, and in it, she shares a graphic that illustrates at a glance the truly disastrous depths, we know this, of the defeat that Napoleon Bonaparte and his French army suffered during the invasion of Russia in 1812. Well, you ask, well, what does that have to do with visuality? Well, let's see, because we're going to show you the image right now, and we can kind of see, I think, what we're talking about. There's the image that she's talking about. And without even really being able to read the words, which are in French, you can see this chart, which shows the relative size of Napoleon's army when it left France in the summer of 1812, and that's the kind of the thick golden shape at the left there, combined with the handful of men that straggled back out of Russia that winter, which is the pitifully thin black line below it. You can see they went out in gold, yep, and they came back in black.
Yeah, the width of the line represents
the number of men in the army.
Troops,
right?
Yeah, okay.
And you can see the army deteriorate mile by mile as they advanced to and then retreated from Moscow. And there's also at the bottom, you can't really see it, but at the bottom there's a corresponding graph which shows the plummeting temperatures in that long retreat reached a low of about 30 below zero Fahrenheit near the end of the campaign in December. Well, I mean, obviously you see being attacked and having 30 below temperatures, you can see what happens to an army. It disintegrates.
They started off with almost
422,000 men, came back with about 5,000 men, that's right. The creator of this map was a civil engineer by the name of Charles Joseph Minard, and he was one of the foremost cartographers and information designers of all time. This particular map, one of the dozens he created, was referred to as the best statistical graphic ever drawn.
Amazing. Yep.
I would tend to agree with that.
Dr. Wheeler's got it hanging on his wall.
Got it hanging on his wall, Dr. Wheeler. I mean, it really represents and illustrates the events and processes that are powerful. I mean, they're powerful things. In this case, of course, it was powerful for Napoleon's army in a negative sense. Organizations can take the inherent truth and use it to really help their improvement activities. I think when people can tell at a glance the status of, like, say, shipments or machine downtime or customer satisfaction or any other number of other key metrics, the processes affecting those outputs tend to improve.
Sure.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Visuality equals understanding, as Gwendolyn Galsworth and Charles Joseph Minard would certainly agree. Napoleon Bonaparte, maybe not so much. I don't know if you would agree with that. As he saw his army disintegrate and saw it on the Minard map. But,
by the way, you mentioned Charles Joseph Minard. Mm-hmm. If you want to see a lot more of his maps, if you just Google Mondays with Minard, mm-hmm, that'll take you to I think it's called cartographica.com. It's a cartography site. And Mondays with Minard was a series they put out I think 5-6 years ago, which highlights about maybe a dozen or so of his maps. So not just Napoleon's map, but several others, and they're all beautiful maps, yeah, and extremely information laden, but more important, easy to read. Visual. And that's the thing. A lot of information is no good if it's difficult to decipher. That's and right. That was where he was a genius.
A genius at a glance. That's right.
All right.